Welcome to Be Continued. We're your host. I'm Christian.
And I'm Caleb.
And we know it's been a while, about 5 months to be exact, but we're back. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about Week 1 takeaways, and as you can tell, last time I said I was a free agent fan, I've picked a team. Shockingly, it was the Commanders.
We knew it was coming. You can't help yourself but follow Carson Wentz wherever he goes.
Hey, after this weekend, I'm not mad.
You're a glutton for punishment.
I am, but I'm not. So far, I'm happy. I mean, ecstatically happy. But anyway, we'll start off Week 1. We'll go game by game. So, we'll start off Thursday night with the LA Rams.
I'm almost ashamed to wear this shirt after the performance that they put up.
But were you shocked?
I was not shocked, and I said that if we had picked the game before we went, I wouldn't have even picked them to win. I had no expectation of them winning that game. And so when they showed up and didn't play well, I was not surprised. They looked terrible, and honestly, I'm not even worried about it. The Bills are a legit Super Bowl contender. That's my biggest takeaway is that. The Bills played really well, and I think the Rams just didn't show up, flat out play. That wasn't the Rams getting beat by a better team. I mean, it might have been that too, but that wasn't the main thing that it was. It was the Rams just were not there.
So when I was watching that game, what kept going through my mind was, can we stop with this discussion that preseason isn't needed? I'm tired of it. The Rams have been doing it for what now? 5 years since McVay got there, and everyone's like, oh my goodness, look at the success. Look at this. And I'll credit you because you did say this. You texted me this. You guys always struggle to begin seasons. Start slow, and now you guys got a good opponent to start the season, and it showed up. And it was actually a theme throughout the weekend. If you look at all these the teams that played preseason looked very good offensively, and the teams that didn't looked slow, methodical, not very well. I mean, it was horrible to watch sometimes. But watching that game, Stafford, people want to come out and say Stafford was horrible. I mean, was he bad? Yes. Am I giving him an excuse? Yes. He had no time to throw a pass. His receivers weren't getting open. And a critique for Stafford would be Stafford can one no-looker game, sure, that's all right. 7 and only completing 1. I mean, come on, dude. You got to look at
the only part of the game that really does concern me, as from a Rams perspective, is that offensive line was really bad. And I don't know how much better it's going to get because Andrew Whitworth isn't walking back through that door. Well, unless he pulls a Eric Weddle.
But even if he does come back through that door, the interior of that line looked horrible.
Yeah. Honestly, what I've thought for the last few years is that they're weak. Whenever they go up against big, strong, physical opponents, they get pushed around and they get beat up. The offensive line, they can't handle it. And that's kind of what the Bills threw at them, and they threw Von Miller at them, and they had no answer for Von Miller. And it's just, for the Rams right now, if you're looking at, they chose essentially Bobby Wagner and Allen Robinson over Von Miller. Right now, it looks like they chose poorly.
Oh, absolutely. And then, at first, when we first heard Von Miller got 6 years, $120 million, we were like, what are you doing, Buffalo? But watching that game, he might have 3 to 4 good years left in. And if you can get a Super Bowl in those 3 to 4 years, who cares about the final 2? You got what you needed.
Yeah, but it's got to... honestly, it's a long season, and Von Miller has to stay healthy for that to matter. And he hasn't played a full season since, I don't know, a very long... Even last year he didn't play half the year.
Yeah.
So, and I think the Rams probably will make some type of pickup during the season. I wouldn't be surprised if it's a running back of some sort because their running game is Darrell Henderson and nothing else. Cam Akers is... I'm officially claiming him as a bust.
I went back and watched that game, and I gotta say this: Akers didn't have a chance to really prove what he had to show. Something happened. I think that postseason game last year against the Buccaneers really put him in the doghouse.
Well, Akers just, for me, ever since Akers has gotten in the league, what he does is he just tries to run people over when he's not that big. He just runs into contact instead of avoiding it.
And another thing with Akers is when you really go back and watch what makes me kind of upset with him, he won't just take the yards that's right there. He'll try and make a big play, and he has to learn that you can't get an 80-yard run on every run. You win games not with that 80-yard run, but with 5-yard runs, 3-yard. You want to stay ahead of the chains. And the Rams running backs just weren't doing that on Thursday, and that's what led to the picks, the sacks. When it's 3rd and 10, everybody in the stadium knows you're throwing the football.
Yeah, but again, the offensive line was terrible, and you also have that's also a part of it.
Oh yeah, and Josh Allen's making some throws.
Can't run with no offensive line. All right.
All right, next game we'll go to is the Niners and the Bears, also aka the monsoon game.
To me, much ado about nothing. I don't think the Niners are going to be as good with Trey Lance. I think that's why they kept Jimmy G.
Yeah, watching that game, I mean, it's
But
really
it's
hard.
a monsoon, so it's hard to say.
It's hard to say what it was. I mean, what I will say is Chicago's got a head coach. They look disciplined. They looked like they believed in him. I mean, it was entertaining football. I mean, some people hate watching rain games. To me, I just find it fun. I mean, I love seeing players slip all around and have fun. And Justin Fields, I mean, if you're a Niners fan walking away from that game, you're like, we chose Trey Lance over Justin Fields. Because the difference in the game was Justin Fields made the plays that the Bears needed to win that game. And Trey Lance missed them.
Yep. I mean, I've never been a believer in Trey Lance. He didn't do much in college, really. Like, he only played
a year.
Basically a year.
He played a year.
And they basically took him off of his potential and off of his physical abilities. And we've seen time and time again when quarterbacks get taken based on their physical abilities, it's not good.
Well, there's that. They need time to develop. I mean,
yeah.
Josh Allen, everybody wants to say Josh Allen is what he is now, and he's always been that. But you remember this. The first 2 years, I was pretty much the only one believing in him. Everybody else was like, this dude sucks.
Well, Josh Allen, that head coach is going to have a talk with him because he's not going to make it a full season playing the way he did against the Rams.
He was trying to run over too many people.
They were up 21, and that man wouldn't go down. Like, the Rams picked him up and slammed him. Like, spread his legs out and slammed. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like, you're the franchise. If he goes down, their season's done.
Oh, it's not even, yeah.
And he's running up 21 when the Rams have no offense. What are you doing? As soon as they hit you, fall down. Like, don't fight for extra yards.
And then there's this shoulder. I mean, he's lowering his shoulder. I mean, we remember what happened to Cam when he injured his shoulder. I mean, it was.
And Cam has not been able to throw since.
Nope.
Cam has not been the same since he hurt that shoulder. And I think Allen is probably somebody that would be in the same boat. And they're similar physical guys. Like, Cam was a physical specimen.
Oh, it was.
Now
was
he
incredible.
just he throws like my arm strength. Like, he's just,
well, once he injured that shoulder, you saw he changed up his throwing motion. I mean, now he just shot put the ball and he couldn't get it anywhere.
Yeah.
And his accuracy has never been that impressive. I mean, I will say with Allen, he's gotten more accurate as time's going on. But if you take his arm strength away, I mean, is he the same guy? No. So I think we're done with the Chicago game. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
So next game we'll go on to. I'm going to start off with all these unentertaining games, the ones that people probably just want to get out of the way. Miami, New England.
not surprised there. Miami's just a better team. I don't think this is the end of Bill Belichick or anything. Miami's just got more talent. That is what it is. Only thing about it is I don't know why Matt Patricia is calling plays.
And that right there is why I say this is the end of Bill Belichick. You want to know what ends dynasties? Arrogance.
Yeah.
Bill Belichick will not hire an offensive coordinator because he's like, I'm Bill Belichick, I don't need one. Hey, Bill, you need one.
Well, the offensive cupboard in Buffalo or in New England is also pretty bare.
Well, I'll say that, but you know how. Okay, let me rephrase this. How many good offensive coordinators are in the league? Like play callers, great play callers are there?
The Rams are putting out a new one every year.
No. Who's calling the plays in L.A.?
McVay.
How many of them are great? Because LaFleur has Aaron Rodgers. I don't count that. And every single time there's no Devontae Adams or anything, he looks horrible. Kyle Shanahan, Andy Reid, McVay. I mean, that could pretty much be the list right there. I mean, it's really hard to find great ones outside of that. Peyton just retired, so 3. They're all offensive guys. They're not defensive guys. Never started off on the defensive side. No. They're offensive guys. If defensive coordinators would be great offensive coordinators, they would already be on the offensive side of the football. And, Bill, what you're doing is unfair to Mac Jones. I mean, I've already given Mac Jones a pass this year because Joe Judge and Matt Patricia are calling plays. I'm shocked there wasn't a QB sneak on 3rd and 9 yet. But watching that game, Tyreek Hill, you were open 5 times and you want to come out and say, oh, yeah, you see that? Mike McDaniels had his ball as a steal. I'm like, dude, you guys, 1, your defense was incredible. 2, you were open 6 different times and Tua missed you. Tua's arm strength, Tua's accurate from 0 to 10 yards. It's beautiful. Most accurate quarterback from 0 to 10. But once you get to the 15 and over mark, it's like watching a toddler throw.
I've thought from the very beginning of that move that Tyreek Hill is going to miss Mahomes more than Mahomes is going to miss Tyreek Hill.
Oh, and we showed it showed, and we'll talk about that game. But watching that game, another thing is Tyreek. You had the choice of Zach Wilson, Tua, and you guys won. So I'm not going to say so far bad decision because it's not. But Zach Wilson does have a cannon. And he could throw the ball down the field. And I think that's what Zach Wilson's missing right now in New York. Because New York keeps trying to build him around this short game. He's not a quarterback that wants a short game put on him. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I don't think Wilson's going to be very good. That's just my opinion.
Well, he'd also have Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco still has a pretty good arm. I mean, he's only sixth in the league in passing yards. Still a star. So, I guess the next game we'll go to is my personal favorite, Colts-Texans.
Colts-Texans. What do they say about a tie?
I don't even know.
It's like kissing your sister.
Oh, yeah, it's like kissing your cousin. That thing's horrible.
Okay, whatever. But, yeah, come on, why are we ending games in ties? The Texans are better than people thought they would be.
Is it that? Or is it what I want to say?
You want to say that the Colts aren't as good without Carson Wentz?
No, it's not that. Hey, Jim Irsay. Hey, maybe if you were staying off the drugs and actually looking at your team, you would have realized quarterback was not the issue. It's the skill position. I feel bad for Matt Ryan. He has no one to throw to outside of Michael Pittman.
Who had a good game.
But can you name one target outside of that?
You know who they should have signed? O.J. Howard. He was a free agent. Scored 2 touchdowns for the Texans.
Oh, my goodness. Did he not look good? He looked pretty... And the other thing is... I'm sorry. Can you tell me again? O.J. Howard, right? If Jim Irsay, because he keeps coming out every other week, Carson Wentz was the main issue. He's a cancer. He's a problem. Hey, Jim Irsay, last year Carson Wentz beat the Texans 31-3 and 31-0. So, yeah.
New head coach, Lovie Smith in here now.
Lovie Smith was there last year. He was the coordinator.
Yeah, he's a head man.
Yeah, they wanted to get him out of there. Just because of the Brian Flores thing, they had to keep a black coach around, so they chose Lovie Smith.
Wow. Lovie Smith did coach a team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and since then, Lovie Smith has a winning percentage lower than the number that Matthew Stafford wears.
He's had, not many opportunities.
The Buccaneers. He had the Buccaneers.
That team was terrible.
2016 Bucs, they were pretty good.
No.
They had Jameis.
He was throwing interceptions left and right.
Hey, Jameis Winston. Hey, don't judge Jameis. But I think that's all I got to say about that Colts game. To me, it was satisfying. I loved watching.
Those are 2 non-Super Bowl contenders.
Amen to that. So next game we'll go to is Ravens-Jets, the Joe Flacco Memorial.
Speaking of 2 non-Super Bowl contenders, Ravens-Jets.
Okay, we disagree there.
Okay, yeah, maybe you think the Ravens are, but I'm not.
Ravens are playoff contenders. I wouldn't say super.
Yeah,
I mean,
Super Bowl contenders.
Fringe. Would it be shocking if they won? No. Do I expect them to? No. Lamar. That's what you're supposed to do, Lamar. I don't know why everybody's come out this week. Did you see Lamar Jackson? He deserves a contract now. It was the Jets.
Yeah, but he only put up 21 points, right?
Yeah, and he threw a pick.
That's not that impressive.
Come on, guys.
He didn't throw for 5 touchdowns or anything, like the best quarterback in the NFL did on Sunday.
Yeah, the best quarter. I agree. Second best quarterback in the league, though, but best on Sunday. Next game we'll go to is the team I'm wearing, Jacksonville, Washington, a.k.a. the roller coaster.
Yeah, it took a lot for Washington to beat that terrible Jacksonville team.
Oh, they're not terrible. They're not terrible.
Yeah, again, we're talking 2 non-Super Bowl contenders again.
Okay, I agree.
But it definitely was an entertaining game. I don't know. Jacksonville doesn't look great to me. Washington, I like what Washington's building with the skill positions, actually. It's kind of like the opposite of the Colts. Like, Washington is building good skill positions, and
Wait.
they've got a crappy quarterback.
Do you realize, you want to see something crazy? Crappy quarterback, funny. I told you last year, everyone's like, did you see, Wentz should have succeeded with that position, the skill positions around him and everything that, I told you. They had Jonathan Taylor and a horrible offensive passing grade offensive line. They're not good at pass blocking. They're not. And guess what? Sunday, they sucked again. Now, Washington, on the other hand, that pass blocking line, Wentz on an average play had 3.5 seconds to throw a football. That led the league, and most time it took to throw a football, and he wasn't getting hit. That's incredible against that Jaguars defensive line. And I got to say, Trayvon Walker, that interception he had was incredible. Wentz, I forgot how much of a roller coaster it is watching that man. I mean, wow. Because when it's good, it's good. I mean, it's great when it's great. Because I'll give you an ESPN kind of stat here. You're going to be like, what? So the Commanders scored on their first 2 drives to start the season. The first time they've scored on their first 2 drives to start a season since 1991. In 1991, they went 14-2. Am I saying the Commanders are going to go 14-3 or 15-2? Absolutely not. I'd be ludicrous. Crazy. No. But we went up 14-3, and there was something telling me it's not going to stay like this. And then we went no because Scott Turner decided to start being conservative and went through the 2 picks, and it went off. And 22-14 later, I was about to start crying. I was like, please tell me. I don't want this again. I don't feel like going. I didn't want to go to church again. I didn't want to go nowhere. I didn't want to even talk to him because I was like, nope, this isn't going to end well. And then a 50-yard bomb to Terry McLaurin later, and I was ecstatic. Because everybody sees that, they're like, what an easy throw. No, it's not. Putting that 50 yards between a corner and safety, I mean, that only had an 18.6% chance of getting completed. I know next-gen stats, crazy. But when I saw Wentz actually be resilient and he got through the interceptions, because 2 years ago, that doesn't happen. Washington's found a way to get Wentz's mindset back. The confident Wentz I remembered is back.
It's week 1.
It was a mindset.
It's week 1 against the team.
He looked confident.
That picked number 1 overall. So
it was a revenge game. Wait, who ended Wentz's season last year?
I don't know.
Jacksonville.
Oh yeah.
Who was Wentz's head coach when he was in Philly? Doug Peterson. So, to me, this was his way of getting over last season. I mean, because look, what's going to happen if the Jaguars go out this weekend and beat Indianapolis? It's in Jacksonville.
Well, they're not going to.
Oh, they're going to.
It doesn't matter.
Oh, they're going to. They're going to.
No.
Last time the Jaguars lost to Indianapolis in Jacksonville,
it's going to be
you
Sunday.
didn't have a beard.
It's going to be Sunday.
It's not going to be Sunday. Trevor Lawrence is going for 4 touchdowns. Calling it now. All right, next game is Eagles-Lions.
All right, so this one I've got some thoughts on. The Lions are like a surprisingly tough team considering they threw away 2 really good first-round picks. Because I think Hutchinson sucks. Like, I think Hutchinson is going to be nothing. He dominated terrible competition, and when he played real players like he's going to see in the NFL and the SEC, he got wiped off the map. Like, I think that was an absolute wasted pick. I might have picked him at 16, where they picked where they picked injured Jamison Williams.
12.
What pick was that? Like, that would have been a better spot for Hutchinson. So I think they kind of wasted that pick, but that's just my opinion, and I'm right about it. But the Lions are a tough team, man. Jared Goff is,
that throw. Did you see that throw he had to DJ Chark? I mean, that ball was right there.
Yeah, the dude can make plays, and I think maybe getting out of LA is just exactly what he needed.
Everybody wants to talk about that pick 6 he had to James Bradbury, and I'm like, guys, pick 6 happened, and it got tipped. Tip ball in the NFL is always a no-go, but to me, I always want to see how a quarterback responds after an interception, because I used to be the big, don't throw interceptions, it's bad. But Matthew Stafford won the Super Bowl last year, and how many did he throw? 17?
Yeah, he threw a lot.
I mean, as long as you can recover from those INTs, it's all right. And Jared Goff, he looked really good after that INT. I mean, to me, he's finally gotten comfortable outside of the McVay system, and he has weapons around him. DJ Chark, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams when he comes back. I mean, that receiving core is going to be really good once he gets back. And TJ Hawkinson, arguably a top 5 tight end. The offensive line is actually really good. But to me, the big story about this game was Philly, hello, you have all this talent on your defense, and you let 35 points happen. You guys were up 38-21. And guess what? Believe it or not, Jalen Hurts still can't throw a football.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts is he's a poor man's Lamar Jackson. That's what he's always been.
He's a homeless man. Poor man's being compliment.
No. He's a poor man's Lamar Jackson. He's going to run the ball okay, keep you in games.
Hey, he won me a fantasy game, too.
If you need him to make a big throw to win a game, he's not going to do
it.
I mean, maybe if the guy's wide open and like somebody fell down. Like, he's not going to choke. He's just not good enough. Like, it's not like the moment's not going to get too big for him. He's just not good enough.
For the moment, yeah.
Like,
I agree.
He's just not going to be able to fit like a clutch tight throw into a tight window.
He doesn't have the arm strength.
Because he's just not good enough.
He does. I mean, he has great intangibles, but intangibles don't win Super Bowl.
He has a very low ceiling.
He's a great running back.
Yeah.
Which is why the Eagles are a great running team, because you have to worry about all the running threats, but their receiving threats. I mean, A.J. Brown, hey, great game, good job. You did great. Can you name one corner on the Lions? Neither can I.
No.
And the Eagles fans are like, did you see A.J. Brown? He was incredible. Yeah. Okay, let's see how he does it versus a real secondary. Eagles fans, if I'm you, I'm happy today because look, Dallas is out of it. But to me, we're gonna now to segue into the next game. The team that actually looked the most impressive in the NFC East this weekend, the New York Football Giants. Saquon Barkley is back.
He looked good. The offensive line looked good, and that's the big thing.
Yes.
And I always like when the Giants drafted Saquon, I felt bad for him because it kind of reminded me of when the Rams drafted Todd Gurley, and at first the Rams had no offensive line, so everything Gurley did he had to do on his own, and then people were crushing him like they shouldn't have picked him that high when the offensive line was terrible, and then as soon as you put him behind a legitimate offensive line, especially when McVay came in there. And Gurley just went nuts. That's what you might be starting to see that with Saquon.
Oh, Saquon. Oh, my good. And you know what's crazy? Everyone wants to say, oh, Daniel Jones looked bad. No, he didn't. He had one bad pick. You know what? Horrible red zone pick. He only had 4 incompletions. And Eagles fans, you're going to get mad at me when I say this. I'll take Daniel Jones 8 times a week over Jalen Hurts. And it wouldn't even be close.
I'm
sorry.
I think the Commanders actually have a chance to win that division.
Do you know how funny it would be if Wentz goes there in week 10?
You're not going to expect me to say that, but I think the Commanders have as good a chance as anybody to win that division.
It's a horror. I mean, the NFC East is
Dallas is done. They're done.
They're done.
I mean, they weren't going to win 14 games or anything with Dak, but without Dak, they're dead in the water.
But it's their year. It's always their year.
Yeah. Always next year, Dallas.
Hey, but the AFC South, oh my goodness. The Titans had that game, and what a horrible horrible weekend for kickers. And speaking of kickers, I mean, we'll go over the other games later, but we forgot 2 of the 1 o'clock window games, but
okay.
This Giants game, I mean, wow. Saquon, I mean, there were runs where he was just fitting through gaps. I didn't even see gaps were there. And Brian Daboll, I got it. There was a nickname that a Giants fan came up with, and I actually liked it. Brian Daballs. I mean, he went for a 2-point conversion at that point. I mean, he went for the win, and he showed confidence in his players. And Joe Judge Joe Judge was a great rah-rah coach. He knew how to speak. Oh, was it time?
No, it's good.
But he knew how to speak, and he would, in the media, you were like, oh my gosh, Joe Judge, let's go. And then the team wouldn't fight for him. Brian Daboll has that team fighting. I mean, they were down 13-0, and you were like, wow. They were hitting hard. They were playing defense. Did you see that hit Tay Crowder landed on Derrick Henry?
No.
He depleted him. I've never seen Derrick Henry get hit so hard that he came up off the ground. I was like, oh my gosh. But the Giants look really good. I mean, really good. I mean, pass blocking wise, the offensive line was really bad, but that run blocking line, I mean, they were.
I loved what the Giants did in the draft.
Oh.
I loved it. They took, in my eyes, I think they took the best
pass rusher,
offensive lineman, and the best pass rusher. Yeah. And the way you win the NFL is you control the lines.
Yep.
And they had a home run of a draft.
And speaking of the pass rushers, they did this without Thibodeau or Azeez Ojulari. Their 2 best pass rushers weren't even in, and they held them to 20 points. And you know what, I got to say this, and I'm looking ahead, but Ravens fans, you guys play the Giants this year, and they're going to have their pass rushers. And who knows Lamar Jackson better than Wink Martindale? I'm not saying it's going to be an upset, but...
Yeah, Wink Martindale kind of got... I think he kind of got the shaft when they were upset that the defense underperformed. He was playing with 7th and 8th string corners.
There was no one there.
He had no DBs. What do you expect the dude to do?
And now he's in New York, and I'm telling you, it's going to look good. But I guess the next game we'll go to is the Baker return.
Baker is who he's always been. The Browns are who they've always been. They're better. The Browns are a better than average, but not much football team.
I mean, watching that game, did Jacoby Brissett look worse? Did he look that much worse than Baker Mayfield? No. If I'm a Browns coach, I'm like, that is why we got rid of Baker Mayfield.
Baker Mayfield had that one stretch where he looked like he was going to be a superstar with the end of that one season when he looked really good.
I've seen stretches before.
Yeah, you should.
Hey, but
you're still in love with the stretch.
Still in love with the stretch, but hey, he still shows me flashes here and there. But Myles Garrett, wow. Now that T.J. Watt's injured, and we've always agreed T.J. Watt's not as good as they say, Myles Garrett's the second best defense player in the league. First being Aaron Donald, always has been, always will be. But the Browns looked really good. They're going to win some games. If they can just stay 500 before the Deshaun Watson gets back, they'll be in contention for the playoffs. Maybe Watson has to massage the referee to get there, but they'll be good. Could be. Now we'll go to the most entertaining game of the weekend. Steelers-Bengals.
I was surprised that the Steelers did as well as they did. I was surprised that the Bengals struggled the way that they did because they didn't really play that well. I don't think the Bengals are a legitimate Super Bowl contender.
Thank you. I've been waiting for somebody else to say it.
I think last year was their shot, and they might they'll get back there probably again sometime during Burrow's career. To being a contender, the Super Bowl contender. Maybe not necessarily in the Super Bowl.
I was about to say.
But, this year's, they didn't look that great. But again, it's the first game of the season. Maybe they just didn't play the first game. Yeah, so, that could be it. Because if you watch the Rams, they did not look like a Super Bowl contender.
No.
But, again, that was the preseason for the Rams, pretty much. That's the expectation. So,
now,
hard to say.
Watching that Bengals-Steelers game, what I will say is this. Joe Burrow, the first half was horrible, but that second half he looked like Joe Burrow again, so he got the jitters out. 4 of the picks came out in the first half. And Joe Burrow's always been a guy that's going to risk the ball. It's not shocking. What was shocking about the way the Bengals lost, though, that offensive line was horrible. And they put like $80 million into that line. So you were expecting a good offensive line, something good, and they looked worse than they did last year, and they have all these new starters. It was like, what? But if I'm a Steelers fan, right now you guys probably feel ecstatic, but really you should be kind of sad because all this did was prolong the process. Mitch Trubisky didn't play good enough to win that game. He didn't. He only scored 14 points. 2 touchdowns. Kenny Pickett should be the starter, and he should be the starter now. If I'm a Steelers fan, I would hope so, but now that win happens, I doubt Kenny Pickett sees the field this year. And the reason I say that, Mike Tomlin's now like, hey, Mitch Trubisky beat the reigning AFC champions.
Well, the Bengals do have a decent defense, so.
Yeah. Now we'll go
props.
We'll go to the choke artists now, the Falcons and Saints.
Unreal how the Falcons, you can change all the players, you can change all the coaches, and they still, that franchise is cursed.
Oh, they're cursed? Yeah. They'll never win a Super Bowl. If they ever get back, it's going to be because they're up 30. They could be up 60 points with 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and a Falcons fan might still be nervous they might lose that game. And if they did, we wouldn't be shocked. That's how sad it's gotten. And, here's the stat that's crazy. Going into the fourth quarter, when the Saints trailed 16 points, in their previous 208 games, they were 0-208. Guess what? Now they're 1-208. And you know what's the funniest thing about this? The Saints actually had this new layout for everything, and that everything included in the numbers-wise was 28-3, 28-3. It was like 28.3. I was like, oh my goodness. And I was like, Falcons, you better not choke this. And what do? They choked the game away. Falcons, I'm sorry. Marcus Mariota, you played great until you weren't great. But Jameis looked good. Michael Thomas looked back. Jarvis Landry looked good. It's really hard to get a grasp on what the Saints are going to be. It was the Falcons. It was a good game. Entertaining.
Yeah.
So, next game we'll get to. We're done with the Saints and Falcons. Packers-Vikings. Just give a good one minute take away from that.
it's going to take some time for the Packers to get ready to roll. I'm not going to hit the panic button just yet because these are young receivers, but most receivers in the NFL don't become superstars right away.
Shh! Don't tell the Packers that.
I mean, even we're talking first round picks, high first round picks don't become superstars right away.
Mm-hmm.
And the Packers are running with what's their highest pick? Well, Sammy Watkins, but what's their highest pick of theirs?
Second round pick, 38th overall, Christian Watson out of North Dakota State.
Yeah, and so you're asking a whole awful lot. Yeah, but I mean, I think by the end of the season they'll look pretty good.
I mean, I agree with that, but one thing I will say,
Just a rough start.
They started rough last year, but it's different. Last year they had Devontae Adams, and I'm a little nervous with Aaron Rodgers' body language, because when Packers receivers were making bad plays like the young guys, he wouldn't come over and beat a leader. He would just be like, "Oh, how'd you drop that? Oh, why'd you do that?"
Well, I think it kind of just reinforces what we already knew, that he wasn't happy with the way they built the team around him. I feel like when those things happen, it's kind of like a "I told you so" moment for him.
But then why'd he take the money? He could have went somewhere else. Looks like Denver could have used him.
He's a weird dude.
Amen to that. All right, next game we'll get to is the Chiefs and Cardinals.
Patrick Mahomes, still the best quarterback in football.
Second best.
Nah, man, he hasn't been dethroned.
Yeah.
To be the best, you got to beat the best. Patrick Mahomes is the best in the NFL, and man, they added good weapons.
Can you name one corner on the Cardinals secondary?
No, who cares?
Their entire secondary's been out. JJ's gone. The Cardinals are going to struggle. If I'm a Rams fan, I'm ecstatic. I'm like,
I think the losing Tyreek Hill is going to help.
oh yeah, I agree with
Help
that.
Mahomes, help the offense, probably help Andy Reid even. Because when you got a guy that's like a physical specimen like that, you want to make sure you keep him involved, and sometimes that comes at the expense of the team. I think one of the things I think Matthew Stafford did really poorly was he was so zoned in on Cooper Kupp, he ignored wide open receivers. Now he didn't have time really to work through progressions, but still, I mean, when you got Allen Robinson wide open,
Hit your man.
Yeah.
I was watching it. I went back and watched the game, and I will say, the offense, the play calling was the best it looked from Kansas City since Mahomes' rookie season, well, second season, but his first year as a starter.
And I really like the Juju Smith-Schuster signing.
Oh, yeah.
He's a good player if he stays healthy.
He just had Ben Roethlisberger throw him the football. They looked really good offensively. The only thing that's going to come back to bite him a little bit is that run game's a little suspect. It's always been a little suspect for him, but I want to see what they do Thursday night. Tomorrow night's going to be very telling for them, because if they could beat LA, and LA's got a defense. Did you see Khalil Mack?
That's not going to mean anything to me. Speaking of chokers, they choke worse than the Falcons. At least the Falcons get to the playoffs. There's no greater choking team than the Chargers.
Yeah, and I guess with that, we'll segue over to the Chargers game. What'd you see with the Raiders and Chargers?
Devontae Adams is good without Aaron Rodgers, which is, I'll admit, I'm a little surprised.
I'm not.
I thought that Adams was at least a little bit a byproduct of playing with Aaron Rodgers, but he played really well his first game. Derek Carr, I don't think will ever win a Super Bowl. I think the Raiders are in that spot where you have a very, they need to do what the Rams did. Admit, hey, Carr's good. He's very good.
He can win you games.
But he is not going to carry us to the Super Bowl. He's not going to make that big throw when we need it.
Derek Carr is Jimmy Garoppolo. He's Mac Jones. He's Kirk Cousins. He's Jared Goff. He can win you games, but there's games that it's just hard to watch. And Derek Carr got overwhelmed. He was throwing the ball into triple coverage. It was hard to watch. And a team, the Raiders should have got, when John Gruden was there, I don't know why he didn't allow Tom Brady to come, because I think Josh McDaniels would be there even faster than he already was.
Yeah.
But Derek Carr, I mean, the thing that my biggest takeaway from that game was Derek Carr threw 3 picks and the Chargers almost lost that game, and Justin Herbert looked flawless.
Yeah, it almost doesn't make sense.
You look at you look at the box score. Chargers won every category, and you're like, they won by 5 at home.
while the opposing quarterback threw 3 interceptions.
What? I mean, it's like, how does this even happen? Let's see. Did we miss any games? Nope.
Broncos.
We have the last 2 primetime games
Okay.
now to get to. We'll start with the horrible one, the Buccaneers and Cowboys.
Yeah, that is what it is.
I mean,
If Julio Jones could stay healthy, I would put the Bucs like up towards Super Bowl contenders. But I would almost bet money that he does not play double-digit games.
oh yeah.
He had that one beautiful long catch.
Just, I mean,
I was like, man, that guy's so good. But like he was slow getting up from that one, so I thought he was hurt then. So I mean, he's a stud. He's still a stud. Love to see it, but
hopefully he stays healthy. I mean, we're praying for. We're not hoping.
yeah, I
for
hope he does. I want to see him have a big season and the Buccaneers lose to the Rams. But yeah, I don't think the Bucs are gonna win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and you know what? I've been telling Cowboys fans this for the past. I've been saying it since that Niners game. You guys aren't winning the Super Bowl with Dak Prescott, not with Jerry Jones, and you're not going back to the playoffs. I said when we did our record prediction after the offseason, I told you they were winning 8 games. And you guys all looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, who are they throwing to? Dak doesn't like CeeDee Lamb. He doesn't know how to throw to anybody outside of Amari Cooper. That offensive line's not depleted. And everyone wants to say, well, wait till Dak gets back. That Dak injury actually...
They looked
covered
bad
up
when Dak was healthy.
They looked horrible. They actually looked better when Cooper Rush got into the game, and I think that was more the Buccaneers just playing prevent defense. And then the other thing is the Tony Pollard crowd. Shut up. Zeke looked like the better running back, but because Mike McCarthy is brainless, he kept trying to give Pollard these unneeded touches. Zeke was getting 5.5 yards a carry. Feed him the ball. Your passing game's clearly not working, and he still threw the ball nearly 40 times. What are you doing, Mike McCarthy?
I don't know.
And then you got the whole Michael Parsons incident. Did you see what happened this week?
No.
So Michael Parsons had already signed a contract. He did everything that makes you say he's going to be there. He signed a contract to be on Undisputed every Tuesday following the week. He no-showed yesterday. Didn't give him a call, didn't do anything. That's a bad look for America's team. And you know what it just keeps showing me? Cowboys are cowards. And you're not getting good. You're never going to be good. This team reminds me of the Al Davis Raiders at the end. Jerry thinks he's better than everybody, and it's backfiring. They are the 4th best team in the NFC East, and they have the 5th worst roster in the East. Yes, I said 5th because I think Philly's starters and backups are better than their players. Except quarterback, of course.
Yeah, Cowboys. They don't look good to me. I don't see where the hope is for the Cowboys. Like a lot of teams, like good teams that expect to have good seasons.
There's still hope.
When they lost that first game, like you still got hope. What do you have to hope for the Cowboys?
Hey, maybe we win 7 games.
Like you're most likely going to lose every game that Dak is out. Like, what? How are you going to win games?
They're going to lose to Cincinnati this weekend.
Yeah.
They're going to lose to New York Giants in New York on Monday Night Football.
That's a winnable game, but not like a. They definitely are not the favorites.
I could see them winning. It's the Week 4 versus the Commanders. There's a chance. And then
Have a Carson Wentz choke job. We could play the Rams Week 5, right?
Yeah, that's a kill. That's right there's when you're going to see the Rams get back to being the Rams. Like the Rams are going to win these next 3 games, but it's not going to be easy looking. That's going to be easy looking. Then they have Baltimore. And they have Philly on Monday Night Football after that, and they're going to get killed in that one. I don't see what Dallas has to look forward to, as you said. I'm sorry to tell you guys, as Cowboys fans, I love this. Cowgirls, I hate you. Always have. I can't stand you. But congratulations. You're showing I'm right.
Buckle up, Cowboys fans. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
But now that we're speaking about this, Broncos country. Let's hide.
The most overrated quarterback in the NFL is Russell Wilson. And he is now the most overpaid quarterback in the NFL.
And some idiot at this table said he's the best deep ball thrower in the league.
I've never thought Russell Wilson was very good. I think he's a game manager at best. He's not going to lose you Super Bowls, but he's not going to win them. And he did not win them. The one who won them was Beast Mode and the Legion of Boom, defense. He rode the coattails of that to this reputation of this like superstar quarterback, and he has just never backed it up in any other way. Like, oh, let Russ cook. Well,
let Gino cook.
Yeah, like, Russ is gone, and he's got some first round talent receivers, and he still stinks.
He didn't look horrible. I mean, what I will say with that
he
game,
scored 17 points.
They
right 16 points.
So
17.
They scored
time.
Yeah.
They went to their kicker for a 65-yarder instead of letting.
They
Russ,
had 2 red zone
Russ
trips.
tried to get 6 yards.
They had 2 red zone trips where they just fumbled the ball away. I mean, I gotta say, if I'm Pete Carroll, I'm like, hey, that's why I threw the ball on the 2-yard line, guys. Nathaniel Hackett. My takeaway: Russ looked rusty, but he didn't play preseason, so I got to see a little more. You could see the flashes of what that offense can be.
He's not very good.
But what really irked me and just made me frustrated with watching that, you're on the 1-yard line. Why are you in shotgun? I don't know what the fascination with.
They're trying to let Russ cook, man.
In shotgun on the 1-yard line? What are you thinking? And then 64-yard field goal. I could see if you were in Denver and you had the altitude on your side, if you had anything on your side. You're in Seattle, where the farthest kick in Seattle history is a 56-yard kick because when you're right on the water, the ball doesn't fly, it's damp. What are you doing, Nathaniel Hackett? And you come out of the game, yeah, maybe it was the wrong move. Duh, it's the wrong move. What?
You paid all that money for your quarterback to let your kicker do that.
Hey, Broncos country. Let's ride. Oh, my goodness. You know what was shocking about that game, though? I was not expecting him to get booed. Not showered with boos. Like I was expecting.
Forced his way out. So.
I mean, they almost traded him in 2018, but if
that's a passionate fan base.
Now, if I'm a Ramson, I'm happy they didn't make the trade in 2018. You know who they were trying to get in 2018? Josh Allen. They were going to trade Russ for the 2 first-round picks in Cleveland, and then pick Josh Allen first overall, and then somebody else. The Force don't know yet who that is, but anyway, thank you for watching this episode of To Be Continued. We're happy to be back, and please press the subscribe button and the like button. Thank you.